Hey guys, as you can tell from the intro, we got mulching today. All right, as I told you last video, mulchers were coming. It's midweek. We were able to squeeze this in. They are gonna come tomorrow. I just probably won't be here. But hey, we got mulchers going and things are progressing. So, you know, there's a lot I can say about this, but why? You know, I think last time we had this mulching video, I'll actually leave the link up here. Maybe I talked too much. So, you know, really what we're doing now is we've got a mulching crew here. It's actually one guy and he's got his tractor, whatever you want to call it, mulcher. It's wheeled this time and it's not the tracks like before. This one articulates, kind of like a Ventrac. So it articulates in the middle. It's very mobile. The tires are over 5 feet tall. And you know, it's just big. So I'm excited to kind of see what it does. But on store for today is mulching this handling facility pasture that we've got. I've tried grapple, I've tried all sorts of stuff, just chainsaw, sawzall, I'm just done, all right? So the mulchers are here to do this. It's about 2.5 acres. It's just west of the compound. And I'm gonna get some before and after photos and kind of let you see it, all right? So anyway, enough of me talking. Let's just go ahead and start watching him work. And I'm supposed to be doing work, but it's really hard to work when you can just sit and stare at a big machine blow trees up. So anyway, this is him working.
So before he started, Jesse, the driver, we walked around and we kind of identified the trees that I wanted to keep, the ones I didn't, and definitely the ones I didn't want to keep are the Sweetgum trees. A lot of the cedars need to go, a lot of just the young underbrush and sapling junk needs to go, but we are keeping, of course, the pine and a few cedars and selected oaks that aren't in the way of potentially where the handling facility might go. So anyway, he started up here on the north end. Kind of just clear out some of those smaller things, and he had a lot more room to work here. It's just that much easier. So you see in here, he's clearing out some of those Sweetgum. That's always fun to watch. So in talking to Jesse, there's a strategy in how you take a tree down. He notches it and takes the top half off down, and he leaves a stump because the stump is anchored in the ground. It's not going to move, and so he's able to apply pressure, and it's not going to wiggle on him like it is when he tries to grind it in the ground. So he actually does pretty well with just taking down and just coming down on top. Now this one's probably a good 8-inch, 10-inch tree. You know, and some of these are like 30, 40, 50 feet tall, but one thing that was going on before that you didn't see in the video is that when they do the initial setup, they just took this from a job in Louisiana, brought it out here almost. It's low on hydraulic fluid, so you'll see the drum will sometimes wind down and stop. He's just low on hydraulic fluid. He's working while these other guys go grab 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid for him, but yeah. So that's why he's kind of working the stumps maybe a little bit more than maybe you'd think it would be. The area where he's working now is actually, we brush hogged that, and there's a lot of stumps. And so when he does all this grinding, he will actually go through and skim the surface a lot near where he's at. But I asked him if he could kind of broaden that out a little bit and be a little more generous with it, since there's a lot of these little 1/2-inch stumps when we mowed that are sticking up all over the place. It's kind of a tripping hazard. So you'll see him just grinding this down, but then he'll drag out and widen out a little bit because he's going to clear out a lot of that. So I expect not to have a lot of grass by the time he's done. But, you know, you'll see like right now he's going through, backing up. There's times that he'll just mow right through the dirt. His goal, he wants to try and get between 4 to 6 inches below surface when he drags. depending on the terrain and so forth, the bouncing of the tractor. I mean, he can only do so much, but he does a pretty good job at about trying to get that. Some of the hazards of actually filming this is that you can't stand in front of him or behind him. You can see that this drone, when it's taking these trees out and he's grinding this stuff, it is going to spit all these cedar chips, or any wood chips I should say, forward a couple hundred feet, backwards a couple hundred feet. And in fact, when talking to Jesse beforehand, he was mentioning that there was a time that he was doing some work and spit this big old log, probably a foot or so big, whatever it might be, but it was pretty chunky, and some other debris back behind him, and his boss had parked behind him a couple hundred feet back, not thinking about it, and this thing took out and just smacked into this side panel, and then some other stuff went underneath the truck and took out some cables for, you know, some exterior cable or something for the transmission. But anyway, he couldn't get it out of park, so they had to tow it to a dealership just to get it repaired and worked on. So you'll see that I'm in different spots at different times when doing this, and I'm kind of far away, but there's a reason for that. I'm just trying not to get knocked out and, you know, taken out. So anyway, it's always fun to see those things fly. So just shortly after this portion, he's going to be taking a break, and he actually goes over and gets the hydraulic fluid and everything else to try and get the system going again. But just for perspective purposes, this is about 35 minutes of work into it, and now he's starting into the madness of all the trees and the thickness and so forth. If you remember from the previous videos, we had done a bunch of work to try and clear out some of this stuff and try and make it so his work was quicker, and he didn't have to grind so much. He has cleared out the pile of debris that we left on the top of the hill right there, and then now he's working just a little bit of cedars before he heads down more into that thickness. Of course, other sweet gums as well.
just got done talking to the driver, and we're gonna try and save some of these to knock down for firewood. I'm just trying to stay out of his way as he swivels around a lot, and I don't want to get in his way. So this tree, we're gonna go ahead and well, there. He's gonna try and come back later and knock that one down. There's also these two, they're right here. These are two sugar gum. There's this guy, and then there's this guy that are pretty tall, and we're gonna just knock those down later. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna wrap around to the other side and come back to get those. You can see him working on the far side now. This is where he has been working. This is way more clear. That was a T-post right over here, and it comes down to the other T-post right in here. But this is way more clear. Oh my gosh. So anyway, he's working this way. He started coming down here, but he's gonna come back up, and he's gonna leave just a little line of cedars on this ridge, and then come back and get these two guys here. There's a big sugar gum over there that he's also gonna just leave and knock down and take the stump away, but we're gonna use all those for firewood. So that's the plan. Let's see him get working. He's moving fast, man. I like this machine. He's doing a good job. sometimes he has to let it up to come back and get a stump that wouldn't come out, like he just did there. It gets caught behind the drum and it doesn't pop out. I'm not making it easy on him because that little tree to the right of his tire, we're trying to save that one. It's a pine, but he may end up, or it's an oak, but he may end up having to take it. So guys, as he's working, a lot of the difficulty that is here is that there's trees that we want to keep, but they're located in ways that prevent his maneuverability around. And so there's a small pine and there's maybe that oak that he might just have to take. Also, the things that he's talking about is when he fells the tree, if we're going to keep the tree or any of the trees, even if we don't keep it, if he can't have it fall in a way that he's trying to have them fall such that they don't crush or hurt any of the trees we're trying to keep. So the more trees we're keeping, the more difficult it is to actually fall down some of those really, really big trees. So he's just, you know, he's doing a good job, but it's just a matter of maneuvering around a lot and trying to get everything done that we're trying to ask of him. So I told him, hey, just do your best. You know, if you can, great. If you can't, you know, I understand. So we'll see what he can do. But some of these little trees here in this little concaved area, let me show you. This little concave bowl area, he's going to keep the cedars around the edge, but to get inside, there's this little tree and that little tree, which we're going to be keeping, and we may not be able to. Also, this little pine right there, we're going to keep, but that's right in the middle of the path for him to drive into this bowl to work all the other stuff, so we're not sure if we can keep that one either. But anyway, let's get back to him doing some demo on these trees and exploding them. Alright, so this big tall guy, this oak, is what it looks like. And if that's the case, I'm going to keep that with firewood too. I thought it was a sugar gum tree thing. And if I knew it was oak, I would have saved it, but my bad. I feel bad about that, but oh well. So he's going to try and lean it back towards me later on, and so then that way we can keep it, and I'll put it out for firewood. So he hasn't gotten to this pile yet. This is the clearing that we had, the alleyway, and this is about where the entrance is going to be for the buffalo gate-wise. And man, this is open. So, doing a great job. Now he's on the far side. You can see the T-post. That's that first corner T-post in the middle of that fence line. So he's going to run out of these guys and take them out. Oak is so hard that it takes him a while to be able to grind it down, which is another reason I'd rather just use it as firewood. I'll saw it up, but to save him time, I'll find a use for the wood, but let him go to other things that are softer woods like the pine, cedar, sugar gum, that kind of stuff. Now this is the hill, the trees just along the peak are what we're trying to save. He's going to try and take out everything else around it except this pine. Okay, so if you remember before, I was telling you that to get into that bowl area, you're probably going to have to either lose this guy or this guy, because the track would have to go through here. So what he did was he just created a different way of getting in, and now he's working both sides of the bowl. He came down, he's in it, now he's going up the other side. And the bowl is not super important to me. it's a shade spot. You know, I don't have a bulldozer to re-terrain everything. But, you know, it's a spot where we can leave some of those cedars in the far distance for shade. But, I mean, otherwise, I don't care about a bowl. I'd love for it to be maybe more smoother than this is, but so be it. I'm actually standing in a really bad spot. You know, mulching always leaves really big logs. That's probably about 8 inches in diameter, 6 to 8 inches. That log. And it just leaves mounds of debris, but you go smooth it out or you leave it. Trying to avoid backing up into this guy right here. So far he's doing a pretty good job, but it's tight for him. He's making it. I don't know how he sees behind him as well as he does, but he does a good job of that. The fact that this thing articulates at the center really helps its mobility. Apparently the crew that I've been using to do all this has 9 of these tired mulchers and 3 tracks. Decat kind of things like I had last time. And they just kind of have really found that these guys are a lot more mobile. Except in wet or muddy terrain, the tracks are the only things that are going to work. But yeah, they really like these tired ones. They're so much more maneuverable. Man, he's got a lot to think about when he drives this thing. in there, but because we're saving these 3, you can't get access to it, and that's fine. So we'll just keep it. And then we're gonna have to come in with a chainsaw or sawzall and cut all those down that are that side of those 3 trees. Love that noise. Last Sweetgum. Well, almost. That's an oak. Yep, that was oak. And the other one's probably pretty similar. This sucker is, let me know. Put it in the comment. I think he's gonna push it. that's good. Just completely shattered. That sucker was dead. That had to be dead. I don't see how tall it is, but I don't know if we can even get it. 24 hours ago, the forecast said that tomorrow morning we'd expect between 1 to 3 inches of rain and possible snow. Then they changed it to possible rain in the morning, but maybe an inch by the end of the day. No snow. But tell you what, this wind out of the south is pretty chilly. A little closer and it was dead. Big stump. End of the day. We have some before and after pictures that I want to share with you. So this first one here, we're looking due west from the compound, before and after. I took 3 pictures to kind of give you a panorama, and I put before and after at each one of them. Oh my gosh, it's so much better. This next set here is looking due north. It's from the alley at the south. Again, just so much more clear. These next pictures are from the west line, looking north and back towards the pavilion eastward. You'll notice that some of these trees are down and they're not mulched. Those are the firewood trees. So we had 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 trees actually. So we have enough to like get some firewood going, so that's good. These are some other just random pictures of us, just what it looks like cleared, but it looks so good actually, really good. So anyway, hey, a lot coming on. I'm gonna end it here. A lot's gonna be coming on this weekend. I do have the mulchers coming back tomorrow, and they're gonna be doing the property line that's against our neighbor, because I'm just gonna wall that dude off. But anyway, I probably won't be here for that, so you know, I'm gonna have to come back and see it on Saturday and see how it looks. So, but anyway, a lot of good things. Wrapping it up. Hey, like and subscribe on the video. The subscribe button is the red one that says subscribe. The other one is like. The like button does some superhuman thing with the algorithm and just tells Facebook, hey, people like this content. So if you like it, just give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. And as always, subscribe. So hey, catch you later this week on this weekend. Next time. Bye.